Let's begin with Onan's pullout, Genesis 38:9. Onan's older brother dies, and in that culture it was his job to marry the widow and give her a child. Not exactly a dream job, but hey, duty was duty. Problem is, Onan had other plans. Instead of doing his duty, let's just say he invented the first ever pullout method. God was like, "Nice try, man, but that's not how this works." Onan spilled the seed, and God sealed his fate. Onan wanted the pleasure without the weight of commitment and responsibility. And if we're honest, we all try that sometimes, dodging the heavy lifting while hoping life still pays out. The story whispers, shortcuts might feel clever in the moment, but they cost more than you think. Lot's wife, Genesis 19. Imagine your city is being nuked with fire and brimstone because of how sinful it is. God's angels are rushing you out, and the only rule here is not to look back. But you are like, wait, one last glance, and boom, that's how you become Lot's wife. God instantly turned her into a pillar of salt. Sodom's burning, but she's out here inventing kitchen seasoning. Talk about a salty ending. Now, this story shows us that clinging to a toxic past can turn us into monuments of regret. Holding on to a ruined past can trap us in place. We become statues when we can't move on. If you keep staring at what you've lost, you'll never see what's ahead. Korah's rebellion, Numbers 16. Korah and his gang decide they've had enough of Moses and Aaron running the show. They gather a mob, basically saying, "Who put you in charge? We're holy too." How does God respond? The ground literally opens up and swallows them alive. Korah, his gang, their tents, even their belongings. Imagine complaining about leadership at work, and suddenly the parking lot eats your car, then the office floor swallows you, your desk, and your laptop. The story is about what happens when ego hijacks purpose. Korah wasn't fighting for truth, he was fighting for spotlight. Symbolically, it shows us how pride that disguises itself as justice can pull us under. If you build your life on resentment and rivalry, don't be shocked when it consumes you instead of raising you. Herod Agrippa, Acts 12:21-23. This guy Herod Agrippa steps on stage and gives a royal TED Talk. The crowd loses it, shouting, "This is the voice of a god, not a man." Herod soaks it in, every word making him feel less like a man and more like a demigod. Moments later, the angel strikes him down and his body is eaten by worms and died. God basically turned his TED Talk into Fear Factor. Herod is every moment we let recognition replace purpose. Pride always promises godhood, but delivers rot. The story whispers, you don't have to be eaten alive to learn that humility is the only legacy that doesn't decay. Before we keep going, smash that subscribe button. It's the only thing here that won't strike you down instantly. Speaking of instant death, let's talk about Uzzah and the Ark. 2 Samuel 6:6-7. Now, the Ark of the Covenant, the holiest object, is being hauled back to Jerusalem on a cart. The oxen stumble, the Ark wobbles, and Uzzah thinks, not on my watch. He reaches out to steady it, probably feeling like a hero in the making. But the second he touches it, he drops dead. Talk about the world's worst volunteer moment. Uzzah didn't even get a "thank you for trying," just lights out. This story shows that in trying to rescue everything, we can lose ourselves. Uzzah thought he was saving the Ark, but the Ark didn't need saving. Symbolically, it's about how we try to fix problems that were never ours to fix, burdens that were never ours to carry, and they end up crashing us instead. The story whispers, chill. You don't need to hold up everything. Focus on what really matters, because not every crisis needs your hand. We can't talk about Uzzah and fail to mention the curious men of Beth Shemesh. 1 Samuel 6:19. Now, the Ark of the Covenant had just been returned by the Philistines after they got absolutely wrecked with plagues for keeping it. So the people of Israel at Beth Shemesh are overjoyed. But instead of just celebrating, some guys are curious and think, what's inside this holy box anyway? You know, like kids checking their Christmas presents early. What's the worst that could happen? Well, here's what. There and then, 70 men stopped breathing. It's the ultimate case of curiosity killed the cat. Except this time, curiosity killed half your neighborhood. This story reminds us about boundaries. Not every door needs to be opened, not every secret uncovered, not every feed scrolled through. Sometimes our obsession with knowing everything and demanding answers we're not ready for, only backfires. If you dig where you shouldn't, you might bury yourself in the process. Ananias and Sapphira, Acts 5:1-10. The early church had this whole share everything vibe. You sell your stuff and you give the money to the apostles, and everyone got taken care of. Then came the couple, Ananias and Sapphira. They sell some land, keep a little cash on the side, and hand the rest to Peter, hoping no one notices. And Peter's like, "Really, guys? You think you can lie to God about this?" Boom. Ananias drops dead on the spot. Hours later, his wife comes in, pulls the same stunt, and God's like, "Round 2. She collapses right next to him. At its core, this isn't just about lying, but also about the danger of half-commitment. Ananias and Sapphira wanted the reputation of being all in without actually being all in. It's like any part of our lives where we hold back but still want the full desired outcome. When you hold back love because you're afraid of being hurt, you lose the relationship. When you play it safe with your dreams, you bury them before they're born. Elisha's bald revenge, 2 Kings 2:23-24. Elisha is walking up the road, minding his own business, when a group of kids spot him and decide his bald head is prime comedy content. Now, most people would shrug it off, maybe pull a dad joke comeback, or just keep walking. Not Elisha. He drops a curse in God's name, and 2 bears storm out of the forest and kill all the 42 kids. Imagine cracking a bald joke, and suddenly realizing you're in a horror movie you didn't audition for. This story is a caution on the weight of words. How a careless tongue can spiral into destruction. Mockery, though wrapped in laughter, often hides contempt. And words are never cheap. They carry power far beyond the moment. Disrespect may start as a joke, but it never ends as one. We can't talk about Elisha's bears without the lion on assignment in 1 Kings 13:24. A prophet is sent on a mission with one clear instruction from God. Don't eat or drink in that place, and don't go back the way you came. Simple, right? But then another prophet tricks him into breaking those orders. Next thing you know, a lion shows up on the road and rips the life out of this poor guy. Talk about divine hitman vibes. And here's the bizarre part. The lion doesn't eat the body, doesn't attack the donkey standing next to it, just kills the man and sits there like, "Yep, my job's done." This story is about how easy it is to get talked out of what you already know is right. It's what happens when you trade your clarity for someone else's certainty. How often do we silence our gut, bend our boundaries, and second-guess our instincts because someone sounds smarter, holier, or more convincing? Judas Iscariot, Acts 1:18. So Judas, the guy who betrayed Jesus for 30 silver coins, regrets the whole thing big time. Matthew says he hangs himself, but Acts tell a horror version. He buys a field, falls face first, and his body bursts open. One minute, he's a landowner, the next, he's fertilizer. Betrayal doesn't just ruin relationships. It eats you alive from the inside. We all know that feeling of selling out, choosing money over meaning, comfort over conscience. Like Judas, you can win the deal but lose yourself, and that's no victory at all. Every bizarre death caused by God in the Bible isn't just a wild story, it's a spotlight on the strange ways life still checks us today. Behind the shock is always a symbol, behind the symbol, a truth. If that hit different, like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment or God might just zap your Wi-Fi.